today's deep dive is going to be how to trim down double. So lots of fancy features, lots of shiny objects, but how do we trim it down to bare bones so that we can really get our feet underneath us and not get overwhelmed? So that's going to be our deep dive for today. In case we are new faces or you've just seen our name floating around the Facebook group but haven't met us officially, hi, welcome. So we actually started HSC because we both get really nerdy about systems and workflows and customizing a software to make it work for the person in front of us, and how can we find a fun workaround. So we shifted over to start this consulting business to just focus on all of those things. So this is us specializing in double right now. So we won't neither of us can promise that we know every single answer, but if we don't know something, we'll either help you find a resource, help kind of play around in our demo account, or we'll help shoot you in the right direction. So that's all I can promise. We are still humans. We are not experts by any means, but we absolutely love this software and being able to customize and tailor it to the person in front of us. So with that being said, we're going to cover a couple of housekeeping bits before we really dive in for today. This is one that we say every single month. So if you've heard me be a broken record before, I'm so sorry. But it is really important to us that you take these ideas as things you could do, not things you should do, especially when we're talking about trimming down double. This is going to be a really important theme for today because Double has so many cool things about it. There's so many shiny new features. They're adding in new AI. Like there is so many cool things about it. But one of the things that is really that we needed to hear all throughout our business journey, and that we repeat to anybody that will listen to us, frankly, is that that doesn't mean that you have to use it all. You don't have to use every feature. You don't have to use every report. This is all for you to take inspiration for you to say, oh, that's a really cool idea, or put some in your back pocket for later and say, cool, noted, don't have time for that right now. So this is not a space for you to feel bad about where you're at in double, or that you need to trim it down if you do. So everything we share here today is all coulds, inspiration, not shoulds. And I don't want you to have any pressure walking away feeling like you're not using it enough. Cool? Okay.
You're very passionate about that for sure.
You can tell. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, I will jump on the soapbox with you. Yes, inspiration only here. But with that, like drop your questions into the chat at any point. If you joined in today and you already have a question in mind, go ahead and drop it in the chat. As we talk about ways to trim down double and questions pop into your head, put them in the chat. So don't hesitate to get questions rolling in there. As soon as we're done with our deep dive, we'll go straight into Q&A and jump into the demo to answer all of those today. But you are welcome to drop those questions in at any point.
Yeah, this is not the place that we need to be super formal or hold your questions until the end. Is the worst to feel like, oh, I had a really good question and now it's left my brain and now it's time and now they're asking for questions. Don't put yourself in that spot. Throw it in at any point. We've got a little admin here as well, so we'll keep an eye out for any of those questions in circle.
Yeah. And a recording of this call will be available by Friday. It'll be emailed out as well as on our YouTube channel there. With that, let's start. So today, like we said, we're going to be doing a deep dive on how to trim double down to minimize the clutter and the areas that you don't use. And we're also going to highlight areas where you can do this in bulk. So to save some time, do things in bulk instead of having to go client by client or line by line. And then, of course, we're going to open up for that Q&A to explore any features, how to utilize and optimize double, and then even troubleshoot workarounds if you need them for your firm. So with that, let's dive in. The first thing is, like we've mentioned, double comes with a lot of great features and reports built in. There are a handful of, there's plenty of default reports that come. So when you initially create that client page, it comes with all of these in the transaction review section, the payee entity review section, and your financial review or that final review section, all of the reports. If there are items in there that you don't use, you can remove them. The great thing is you can always add them back in later. So if it's like right now, as we're getting used to this software, I don't want to review every single one of these. So let me take them out, and then I know that I can add them back in later if it's something that I want to layer back into our workflow. But on a single client here on their page, you go to that task or that report, and there's a delete report button right there on the side, so you can remove it. Again, you have the opportunity to add these defaults back in. And if you're wanting to do this in bulk across multiple clients or just multiple tasks in a single client, either way or both, you can do it in bulk from the task list. So you go to the task list, you can use these filters at the top to filter down. You can do it by task name. There's all sorts of different ways that you can filter this list. But once you have it where you need it to, and you check off the items that you're wanting to delete, you can then delete from the bulk action menu that pops up at the bottom of your screen once you start selecting. So you can always do it client by client, line by line as you're reviewing and setting up. If it's something that you know, like we don't do this report for any of our clients and I want to delete them all at the same time, you can do that here in the task list.
Exactly. And one important thing to note on this, auto added by bankroll is a really good example. Some of us use bankrolls for some clients, some of us don't use them at all. So this is a really good one that if you know you don't use bankrolls, there's going to be nothing in that report. There's no need to check that off every single month or let that stack up as part of your overdue task list every month, because that's the downside. Either we're training our brain to go through and check every single thing, even if we didn't do it or there isn't anything in there, or we're just letting those stack up. So either way, this is one thing that I think a lot of us are really nervous because we're like, man, well, double comes with so many reports. I should be checking them all. But again, be careful of shooting on yourself. This is not a tool to add more to your plate, but a tool to highlight areas that you might need or that you may want to be able to review. So, like Jody said, no harm in deleting it. You can always go add them back, but this is a really cool one to be able to delete those in bulk. One other quick note, if you delete them out of the current close, that will pull forward. So you don't have to go delete them every single month. So whatever you're doing in the most current close, whatever is reflected there by the time you start the next close and hit that button will be reflected. That'll be exactly copied over. So I think that's just a good note to have.
Yeah, that's a really good point because an also thing to keep in mind is that if you are doing it here in the task list in bulk and you're deleting things from old closes, but you're not doing it from the current one, it won't carry forward. So just definitely keep that in mind. Whatever you do in the most recent current close is what will carry forward. Now, you absolutely can delete things from old closes as well, especially if it's something that you're not going to ever go back and complete and you don't need to do again. You can certainly do that. But if you're wanting it to repeat or carry forward, make sure you're making these edits or trimming it down in the most current, most recent close. So this is all about those default reports in Double, but in our account reconciliation section, where the accounts pull in from the accounting software, or if you're manually entering them in for an unconnected client, you can take them out here as well. So you can click delete on those to remove them. Can't tell you the number of times we've seen or heard or have done ourselves where you accidentally hit add every account from the balance sheet or something like that, and it fills them all in, and you're like, oh no, I didn't want all of those in there. And now you have 50 account reconciliation tasks. You can individually, from a single client, individually delete them here, or go to your task list and you can filter by that section and then select the accounts that you want to delete if you're wanting to do them in bulk. Again, here, if it's a connected client, you can always add them back in. So if it's something where they're not using this card anymore, you don't need to reconcile it, it's being inactivated, and then the client decides to bring it back in, you can always add that account back into that list when you're ready. Next up, we have sections. Go ahead, Erica.
This is one of my favorites, so I'll jump in here on this one. So, a lot of times for things like additional items, maybe pre-close, something like that, or even if we add custom sections up at the top, like payroll, we may not need them and use them for every single client, but we don't want to delete them, right? So this is a way to go in and hide some of those sections for what you don't need on this client. Now, if they are a default, like, what's a better way to say this? If they have some of those default tasks in there, so I'm talking about account reconciliation, transaction review, pay entity review, final review, those ones we can't hide right now. I believe there's a Canadian report out there. I'll find it and kind of post it in here to be able to hide those. So those ones are locked, right? But any of these other sections that have our own custom tasks that we add in there, we can hide these on the clients that we don't need, which is amazing because everybody's different, but I tend to fall on the more on the page, the more likely it is that I'm going to get overwhelmed. So if I can go in and hide the pieces that I don't need for this client, but not delete them across because I might need them for some clients, then that makes it to where each page is trimmed down and only using the sections that you're actually that are currently active. So this is one that we'll do on the client level, and we'll do section by section. This is really easy to undo, so there's no permanency here. We just scroll down to the bottom of the page and hit hidden sections and then make it visible again. We'll show that in our demo here in a little bit, but this is one of the easiest ways to trim down clutter on the page if you don't want to delete that section, but we at least need to get it to where it's not showing if we're not using it on this client.
And an important piece to note, I think, is why hiding sections is so ideal. Because if you remember, deleting a section will delete it from the entire system across every single client. So having this option here to hide gives you that flexibility to hide and show just for the clients that need it. Again, this is really important for those custom sections. If you're building those out in different ways, you can just hide the ones you don't need and make them visible when you do need them.
Yeah, amazing mention there that that's the caution with deleting it altogether is you're going to delete it out of every client. And if you have any templates that also use that section, you're deleting them. You're deleting any tasks out of the activity
Yeah.
log. It is a pretty, sometimes we need to do that if we're not using this section at all ever. We are not worried about the history of that. Cool, delete it. Awesome. But a lot of us have that like we're kind of in between, but I don't want to see it on this client. That's where we would hide instead of deleting.
Yeah.
Great mention there, Jody.
Yeah. Next up is our inbox. So Double has the ability to connect and integrate your email with it. And that adds another tab up at the top. We can show this in the demo as well, but it adds a tab at the top. If this is not a feature that you're utilizing, you can hide it. So you don't even see that tab anymore. I got really excited when I stumbled upon this because I wasn't using it for one of my clients or for one of my Double accounts. And you click this button, it's going to be in your practice settings. So firm wide here. This is for all users, and it's going to just hide that tab from the entire practice. This will also prevent people from going to it and going, wait, am I supposed to be reviewing emails here? Am I supposed to be connecting my email here? If it's not a feature that you're actively using, you can come here and hide it. And again, the whole point of hiding these things or removing these things when you're not using them is to reduce distractions and to reduce visual overwhelm on the page. That was a fun little one to find.
Archive clients is one of those that I see a lot when I'm doing a diagnostic review of other people's accounts because we don't realize a lot of times that we can hide those. So they're just showing up grayed out on our client list and making it even bigger. And it just gets cluttersome. And then we might even open up questions from our team of like, hey, I thought we offboarded this client. It's still showing up on my client list. So this is one that we can always go into our practice settings on Archive Clients tab and actually uncheck showing them. Now, this is really easy to, if we ever need to go back to that client page and open it up, see any previous questions or tasks or anything like that, because we have archived it to keep a paper trail. So if we ever need to go back to it, we can absolutely check this back, go back to the client list and reopen it. But it just means that our day-to-day client list is trimmed down and we're only seeing the active clients, which again, less confusion for our team, less visual clutter. So this is a really important one to know in case you're like, I don't know how to delete these, but I don't want, like, I don't know how to get them off my client list, but I don't want to delete them altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that client list and trimming it down, you can utilize the saved views feature to create different dashboards so that you can minimize what you're seeing on those screens. And again, it's just a way of reducing the visual overwhelm. It's a way of getting directly to, like shortcutting, directly to the information you want to see when you want to see it. So you can utilize saved views in a wide range of ways. Here we just have two examples of an everyday dashboard and a month-end dashboard. And then similarly with our task list, same thing. You've got saved views here where you can trim this down because the default in here is going to be all tasks, all clients across everything, and it becomes very cumbersome very quickly. So there are quick filters at the top, such as do this week, that you can do real quick and just minimize what you're seeing. Again, we're just reducing that visual overwhelm, helping you to get focused on the action items that you need to do right then, instead of being distracted or confused by too many things on the screen at one time. But again,
That's
here
a
you can filter and sort and create as many saved views for as many different purposes as you need.
Yeah, this is one that a lot of us just like don't go to this page at all because it's way too much and we have pages and pages and pages and pages of tasks. So this is a really easy way to make it to where it's helpful, right? Because honestly, I love this when it's trimmed down because it gives me essentially double acting as my executive assistant, where I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
double, what do I have due? So that I don't miss anything that's important and I don't have to go client by client by client to see what I need to work on today. So this is massively helpful as long as it's not overwhelming. So I think that's the give and take there is how do I filter this down so that I can use it without getting myself either distracted and down a rabbit hole or just like so overwhelmed that I just go outside and go away from my computer for a while. So I think from there, those are the big pieces that we wanted to cover today. We're going to switch over to our live demo account and show you how to navigate some of these because the slides are always helpful, but sometimes we just need a visual for how to actually complete that action or what this looks like to show and hide. So Jody, if you don't mind going to mountain landscape, that's the one that we have that's an example of everything kind of trimmed down, knitted up so that we can go ahead and kind of play with this concept.
Let it finish loading. Okay. I'm going to collapse all. Another fun button, just in case you haven't seen it. I always do this every time I'm in here. Highlight it real quick. You can collapse all. That again reduces the visual overwhelm when you get to this page. And then you can expand as you need to see whatever it is that you might want to see. So you can collapse all, and then if you need to, you can expand all, and it'll filter everything out for you. But here's one where like the transaction review, I think this defaults to maybe 7 or 8 reports. And this one we have trimmed down to just the 4 that we need. Or maybe we don't need this transactions auto added. So I can come here and I can delete this report and say, yep, I definitely want to do that. And now I've got one less thing on my task list here.
And while we're in here,
So,
let's go ahead and show how to add that back just in case anybody accidentally like clicks on the wrong task and they're like, oh
yep.
no.
So if I want to add that back in, save, and it's back. Same thing down here, payee entity review. We're only showing one, but the reports that are available, there's a lot more here for you. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to show and basically hide the rest if you're not using them.
Hmm.
And then as
Exactly.
far as sections, like this one here has no tasks in it. If this is not a section that I'm going to be using for this client at all, I can come over here to the three dots and click Hide Section. And that's going to throw it down here in the bottom where it shows hidden sections. And then if something comes up and I want to use that space again, two things. I can either come down here and click to make this visible. Oh, wrong button. Happy fingers. Click to make section visible, and it's going to move it back up to the top where it was. Or if I have a template that I'm using that has the additional items tasks or section, and I have tasks in there, if I apply that template to this client, it'll automatically show that section. So it'll make it visible. If you've had it hidden and you apply a template that's using that hidden section, it'll make that visible when it applies the template.
Yeah, that's a really good mention there that sometimes we, as part of our onboarding for a new client, we'll just hide all the sections that we don't need, and then apply a template to payroll or to additional items or something like that, and that'll automatically unhide or show that. So that's a really good kind of best practice, or at least the one that we use a lot of times too. Jody, we actually have a question that I think is really relevant at this part in the conversation. So, for that transactions auto added by bank rule that we just added back, Ellen had a question about, is there a way to add that task back and automatically have it set the same due date? So there's not a way to automatically have it set the due date, but can you show how to edit that one task or do this in bulk for this section just so we know our
Yep.
options?
Yep. So as you add them back in, you can set that date here to match. Same thing with the assignee. You can set it to match by just coming in and selecting it. Not sure why it's not showing me right now. There we go. Uh, you can also do this in bulk. So say you've added something or you've got a new client set up and all of these are blank. So I can mark all of them off here. You can come and do this in bulk. So set due dates, bulk set due dates. This is going to do everything in this section. It'll give it the same due date. Same
Yep.
thing with bulk assign. You'll be able
Yeah,
to do
I
all of
agree.
them at one time, but
So
there is
those
not
are
an
kind
automated
of,
way to.
yeah, it's not going to automatically set the due date here when you add that back, but that's what I tend to do is just do them in bulk. That way I know they're all going to have the same set due date, or you can set them individually if you need to. Great mention there. The same thing applies to account reconciliations, but this is really common if we connect a client and then there's a handful of accounts that are still in QB over zero, but they're not active, or they're not in scope. We have only contracted for three accounts, these couple. So I think this is a really good one to just know because it will automatically drop in all of the accounts that are in the accounting software. So this is a really good one to know as you're fine tuning and helping you and your team remember, okay, even if it's in QBO or zero, these are the ones that are actually reconciling.
Right. And what it's looking for are those bank accounts, the credit card accounts, those kinds of things are the ones that they pull in automatically. And then you can go and customize to add in other accounts that you need. If you need to delete it, right here is that delete reconciliation task button. And then as I had just previewed, you can add the account here. Be cautious of this because it will add the entire balance sheet here. So if that's not something that you're actively doing, just be careful because it will add a lot. But you can pick and choose which ones you want to access here.
Amazing. Let's go ahead and do a quick demo on how to do that in bulk from the task list while we're kind of still on the same train of thought, and then we'll shift gears a little bit.
So there's a lot you can do in bulk from this list. And again, this task list is all clients, all closes, everything comes in here. If you have admin or manager access, you're also going to see this across all of your assignees, all of your users. So lots in here, lots that you can do. So the bulk action menu is going to appear whenever you check off a task on the other side. So using this column here is going to open up that bulk action menu. The delete button is going to be right here. It will give you that prompt again. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete these? Wants to double check before you actually do it, and then click delete again. But you also have other options for bulk. While we're here, let's take a look. You've got the status that you can update in bulk, the assignee, the due date, the tag, and the section. The section, just to note, it has to be within the same area. So if you're in custom sections, it can move it from one custom section to another custom section. If you're in a closed area, you can move it from one closed section to another closed section. If you have custom and close selected on the side, it will limit what you're able to do for the due date and the section. But lots of flexibility in here to be able to do things in bulk.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're here, let's go ahead and show how to quickly filter that task list to just show our due today or something like that, just while we're on the same page.
Yeah. So again, you've got quick views up here at the top. So this one's going to be your due dates. So if you're just wanting to see what's due today, you can click that. Hey, I'm done. I don't have any tasks due today. You can also look ahead to see what's due later this week. Or maybe you are working on this week and what's overdone, what's overdue, and you can choose that. So those are quick filters up at the top for you. You also have some additional ones like assigned to me or requires my sign off, or if you're just looking for what is my highest priority, and you can layer these. All of these can be layered. So if what's my highest priority this week? It's going to look at this column here for your priority, and then it's also looking at the due date for when that is due. So you can layer these as much as you want. You can also use these filters to customize a view. And then once you've customized that view, you can click to save it. And then that way you can always revisit it later and pop through your different tasks.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a really good mention there. Beautiful. From here, we already showed sections, so I think we're good on that. Let's go to inbox next, if you don't mind.
Okay. And you can see I don't have it up there. So let me turn it on and then we can go explore. Be in users, emails. If I uncheck it, it is going to bring that tab back over for me. There should be a canny out there. We may need to look for it to hide this top section. Because some people will use these. The sections below are your practice emails. So if you're utilizing this and you have a practice email linked, you can use that same settings space, the manage users, go to your emails, and you can pick and choose who has access to view this. You can set up whoever you want to be able to view that if you're using it. But we don't have a way of hiding this top one. So this is going to be your personal, your individual email. And under manage users, you'll see that here, personal inboxes. So in our demo here, we have it disabled for everyone, but it's still visible. So again, there should be a candy request out there to be able to hide that so that it's just not cluttering up the screen or making people think I need to connect it. I need to connect it. So yeah, anything else to highlight here?
No, I think that's a good call. I'll see if I can find that canny request for hiding that because that does cause some confusion for us individually and everybody on our team to be like, wait, which one?
Yes.
And wait, it's not connected. So that gets very confusing for a lot of people. I
But
think,
if this is
go ahead.
not something that, yeah, I was gonna say, but if this is not a feature that you're using, this inbox space, come up to the practice settings, go to your manage users, go to emails, and hide it. This way, it's not even visible for people to get to. In this same vein, let me highlight something else here. In the same type of thing, let me get to a client. Bank feeds. This is another tab that if it is not something that you are utilizing, you can hide that tab across all clients. So again, that's going to be here in your practice settings. So if that, again, if this is a feature that you're not using for anyone, come to practice settings, go to statements and reporting, enable bank feeds. You can uncheck this and it is going to hide that tab across your entire system. So now I only see close, metrics, and reporting for my connected clients. Um, if bank feeds are something that you're using for a couple of your clients, then of course you're going to want to leave that on, and it'll just be a blank tab for those that you aren't using it for. But if you don't want that tab cluttering up your screen, you can trim it down by hiding it.
Yeah, that's a really great mention. I always forget that that's an option to turn off. So
Yeah.
that was a fun light bulb moment for me as well. Um, from here, I want to make sure that we cover archive clients and then that client list. And then I've got a couple of questions queued up for
Okay.
you.
Let's go back to our client list. And right now we have our archive clients hidden. If I come to all client settings, archive clients, this is where you'll be able to hide or show them. In the past, you used to be able to click on these to get to that page, but now you can't. So I think Erica was looking for a request for that too, to be able to open up the client page if you need to go back and review something. But for now, if you are needing to do something with an archive client to view it, but you don't want to reactivate it, so from here you can reactivate it. But if you're like, I don't want to do that, I just need to look at something, you can click to show the archive clients on the list again. And then, which one was that, Erica? Oh, this one.
Yep, there you go.
And so it's here, it's grayed out. I can click to open that. It's going to tell me that it's archived. I could reactivate it from here if I need to, but this way I can like view something. If I needed to go back and check on something, I could do that, and then go back and hide that from my client list when I'm done messing with it. So I could come up and remove those archived clients from the settings and hide those again.
Yeah, amazing. And then I do already have a save view set up for that simplified month end view. So let's show that really quickly and then do a mini demo on that save view and kind of hiding and showing properties. Want to be careful about our time. So I'll drop a link for the full Q&A that we did on everything about save views, but let's do a quick rough and dirty one.
Which one did you want me to go to?
Um, scroll down. This is definitely our sandbox. I have way too many in here. I do not recommend
This
this.
one?
As I say, not as I do. Yep, simple month end with the exclamation point in front.
Okay. It's our playground. So we test it out before you have to. Um, so yeah, this is just a really simple view where I'm only seeing exactly what I need to see. I've got the close, I've got the due date, I've got the status report here. I can click in to view what reconciliations are still left to be done. So all of these reconciliations are good to go. This one, I've got one left. Okay, I can see that. I can also check on the close progress and see what's left to be done. If you click into this status of this progress bar, you can then click through the various sections to see what is still outstanding. Um, and it'll,
That is my like mind-blowing tip that I will yell at okay, maybe not yell. Strongly suggest for anybody that will listen to me is uh, some people love all of the columns on the default client list. If you that is you, I love that for you. Most of us, that's the first screen you load on when you log in, and then it's like way too much info, and I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm just like, so a lot of us will show up a couple of key columns that are kind of milestone columns for like account reconciliation or payroll, custom sections that aren't going to be in that close progress Domino's pizza tracker bar. But this is really amazing because I can still click through and see any of those sections to understand, okay, I'm at 87%, but what does that mean? What do we still have outstanding without having to go to the close page or see all those individual sections on the page? So amazing tip there is close progress tracker. Love it. Saves my butt way too many times. But you can also click into it to get a more detailed view before loading the actual client page there.
yep. And from this, just to let you guys know even more. So from this, you can check them off, uncheck them. You can change the due date. You can change the assignee. So there is a lot that you can do here. You can't view the report. You can't click on it to view the report, but you can update some of these, or you can say, oh, wait, I did do all of these things. Let me just run down the list and check them real quick. And then you'll get that satisfaction of seeing that progress bar moving.
Exactly. That's a really good marker for, okay, let me check. I'm only at 60%. I'm pretty sure I did more of that. And then just kind of catch yourself up for checking off those couple that you did yesterday,
Yeah.
but you forgot to check off or anything like that. So, really good mention there. Okay, Jody, that's at least a live demo of everything that we showed in our
Okay.
slides. Do you mind if I hit you with a couple of
Yeah, let's do it.
questions that have come in? Okay, beautiful. So we'll want to go to mountain landscape and then kind of scroll down to the close section for this one. So Carla has an amazing question. She is considering using double. What do we recommend to start so that we don't get overwhelmed? So I will make a quick plug that their double has a YouTube series that's getting started. So that can be a really good place to go to kind of spot like certain areas that you want to get more info on or kind of understand. But the biggest things that I find helpful across new users are the transaction review, pay entity review, and financial statements review, especially if we have them trimmed down. So actually, let's go to mountain landscape. I might have said the wrong
Well,
words
no,
there, Jody.
I didn't
Okay,
go
go
there
ahead.
because they had extra sections. So I
Okay,
wanted to show her this one. So I
beautiful.
agree. When you're initially starting to think about using double, um, to back up a couple of steps, just starting with a close, starting with the defaults that come in here is a great place to start. It is built to help make your month end faster, more seamless, catch more things. So the default reports that come in here in the sections that Erica just mentioned, transaction review, payee entity review. Now, all of this, that's a lot. If you don't use them or they're not going to be helpful, when you first get in here, go ahead and remove the ones that you don't need right now. So that would be step two. So step one, just connect, get these reports. Step two, take away the ones that you don't need right now, that aren't going to be the most helpful right now, and then get used to using what comes default. And you can work in here with those, the financial statements there. And then as you're getting more comfortable with double, you can start adding more things in. So like the additional items, you can add other tasks that you want to do, or pre-close, you can give yourself more tasks or
What
reminders to collect
statements do I need to
statements.
grab or reminders about journal
Right.
entries? That's what we see a lot.
So I think a great place to start is just month end. whether you're using it to close everything out or you're just using it to QC and just use this as a double check of your workflow. That is a great place to start because it can get very overwhelming very quickly because Double has so many features. It has so many possibilities and you can use this in so many different ways. We always recommend just come back to the basics. This is where Double started, is here at month end. And then they've built on top of that. So that's what we recommend is come in and start with month end if you're unsure and don't have another purpose that you're using it for. That's a great place to begin.
Yeah, absolutely, Jody. Good mention there. Next up, Ms. Julie has a question. So we'll go to our client communication. So when she edits client or when she gets client responses for uncategorized transactions, can we add that note to where it'll show up in like the QBO description for what that expense was for to kind of help carry over that client response into QBO so we have it regardless of which system that we're in?
So my answer to this is yes and no. um, so let me find where I've got some responses. It's been a little bit here. All right, I don't have one, and I'm not going to waste your time looking for them. But when a client responds and you've got the answer here, then you can click Add to Memo. So once they have a response in here, you can click Add to Memo, and it's going to add it here. This column says description, but it is actually the memo. So this is one of those spots in Double where it can get a little bit confusing. So this is going to add it to the memo. So if you go into QBO and you open up that, it's going to put it down there in the memo section below, not add it to the description next to that line item. If you're wanting to add it to the actual description of the line item, you'll want to come in here. So I clicked this drop down button to see more details, transaction line items. This is the true description for that line item. So clicking add to memo here will add it in this section and it's the memo, and then you can copy and paste that to the description here. Hopefully that made sense and wasn't too confusing.
Yeah, I've also dropped in a feature request where there's a lot of people that ask, can we drop it into both spaces so I can
Yes.
see it everywhere I need to? So feature request has been dropped into the chat. In the meantime, your workaround, if you actually want it in the true description, is that little caret icon and then transaction line items. Make sure that you hit save. This is one of those that doesn't auto save, and it's really easy to miss that little blue purple button. So don't make yourself go do that again. Make sure to hit save on this page.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thanks for that one, Jen.
Yeah.
Let me keep scrolling. Okay. I think we're actually done with questions for now. That does not mean we won't get more, so feel free to keep adding them in. If there's anything else that we have opened up the can of worms and you're like, oh, wait, now that opens up a new question. Question unlocked. In the meantime, let's go ahead and shift back to our slides really quickly. I want to make sure everybody leaves this call with knowing how to get extra support if we have opened up the can of worms. And then, yes,
let's
yes, yes.
tease next month. So next month's Q&A, we are going to, in the beginning part, highlight the Anchor Double integration and kind of give you a walkthrough of what that looks like and what that entails. So that's what we will highlight next month on June 17th.
If anybody's not familiar with that, because that might be that might have come out like Charlie Brown's teacher. So Anchor is a software that a lot of us use for proposals, contracts, auto renewals, payments, things like that. There is a direct integration with Double and Anchor, so we don't have to go through Zapier and set up very intricate if then automations. So we'll be highlighting what that actually means. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew what Anchor we were talking about.
Yes.
And then from here, this is the easiest place to, we have more free resources, right? So if you liked this and you want to join next month, there's a little QR code there to be able to re-register for next month. And then if you want to go back because we went a little bit fast today, or you had to jump on late, or you just want to see what other topics that we've talked about before, like save views or onboarding new clients or anything like that, you can always go to our YouTube channel. That's where all of our recordings are posted for previous, and then the new one will be posted on Friday. We do offer additional support. So, like I said, if we open the can of worms and you're like, okay, I have a whole list of stuff I need help with in Double, or this was awesome, but I need help training my team, or I just want somebody to take a look at my account and see what I'm doing right or wrong and just give me some direction because we can only see our accounts, and that's a darn shame. So, any full spectrum from brainstorming session, diagnostic review, team trainings, all the way to, hey, help me actually get Double set up with my own tasks and workflows and stuff like that. Full gambit is definitely within our scope. So reach out to us at hughesandstrong.com/contact, and I'll be the person that reaches out and gets you to exactly the right spot. If we need to have a call to kind of flesh out what seems best for you, then we'll absolutely do that.
And I know we have a few people on the call who are still exploring Double and looking to see if it's even something they want to do for their firm. Erica's also awesome at demoing. So if you if you are like, I still don't know if I want to see it, and I want to be able to see it in a way that is set up like actual, like full on, you've got a preview of our demo. Um, she'll be happy to sit down with you and give you a demo and help answer your question to see if this is even a good fit for your firm.
Or if you're switching from other softwares, I get a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm in this other software. I'm currently using this. I just need somebody to help me flesh out, hey, will it do this? What will it look like? That sort of thing. So Sarah actually mentioned, that was a great segue, Jody. I wouldn't have mentioned that myself because I blushed and get it. But thanks for mentioning that. Sarah, right now, Double doesn't have a demo company set up or accessible to everybody, but that's definitely one that I'm happy to walk you through on an individual basis with ours that are already set up for all the different use cases for,
Yeah.
hey, how can you do leads in here? Or what does it look like to have a QBO client or a zero client or a tax client? So that's at least what we've created in the meantime while they are cooking behind the scenes to get like a fully built out demo account so that everybody can use it.
And real quick, before we let everybody go today, since we don't have any more questions coming in, we have a really exciting announcement, and I'm going to let Erica share the news.
Okay, so we have been working in Double helping support people for as long as we have been HSC. But we have recently done a revamp of seriously my favorite offer. So if you are looking for, hey, I need templates that already have SOPs set up so that I not only have best practices and it's all out of my head and written, so it's not just stuck in my hands and I can delegate or hire, as well as individual, like, how do we use all of these reports in Double? I don't even know, so I definitely can't train my team. We have a full bundle of templates, some accountability calls, so you're not just left by yourself. I just redid all of our video lessons for how to edit a template, how do I apply it, what happens if I messed up, everything through that whole gamut for everything you're going to need to actually get set up in Double, and live support. So you're not left by yourself. You have us to ask questions to, and unlimited. So we've had plenty of people hop on support calls every single day during the week, and it's been a joy. So have not reached the limit yet. So we are currently getting the last little polishing sprinkles on that, and it will go live on June 1st. So if you want to join the waitlist to either get more information when it launches or be the first to sign up for that, definitely use the QR code there. And then I'll also list it in the recording for today. So that's a quick mention. We usually aren't super like salesy or mentioning stuff that we have going on, and we just kind of let you reach out to us as you need us. But this is one that we've been working on for a very long time, and we're really excited to have updated video lessons and templates. So we had to mention it in case anybody else is in that spot where you've been using Double for a while. but you really want to get everything set up in there without having to spend your entire week doing that and writing up SOPs yourself. So we will get off our little soapbox now, but excited to announce that and to have it launch here coming up very soon.
Yes.
Alrighty, friends. Well, I don't see any other questions that have come up, so we will go ahead and give you a couple extra minutes in your day back. Like I mentioned, we will have the recording up on Friday and sent out to everybody that was here live today. The Caney links for the stuff that I couldn't find a Caney for and need to make one, or need to do a little bit of digging, will also be in that video description. So if we mention anything and I was not quick enough with my hands to get it in the chat, I'll make sure that it's all in the recording description on YouTube as well. Okay, with that, you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll hopefully see you next one.
Thank you. Bye.